Gauteng education authorities are investigating after 2 pupils drowned in the Hennops River near Centurion. That's in the north of Pretoria during a school excursion. Now, emergency services from Tshwane arrived at the scene to find the boys, who are aged 13 and 16 from Daveyton Skills School, had already died. Let's get you a sense of what else we know about this. Bring in the spokesperson of the department, Mabona, who's with us once again in studio. Great to see you again, sir. Thanks for making time, albeit under these circumstances. Would much rather have a different kind of discussion, especially because, Steve, as I'm sure you've heard the reaction from the public, it comes so soon after another drowning in Gauteng.
Yes, quite sad that it came so soon. But also we don't need to forget that all these excursions, they've got a developmental role that they're playing. Remember, we're nurturing children. So it might be academic, it might be discipline like as this one was, any other element that they might introduce. So any eventuality, we need to make sure that we tick all the boxes. Safety should be a concern. So this incident, we understand that there was no water activity that was scheduled for this one. So it happened that one learner, decided to run into that river, and the other one, was trying to rescue, and they both drowned. But there's many questions that we really need to ask the facility and the school. So hence that MEC will be visiting the school tomorrow, first thing in the morning, and we might then have to make decisions, as it were, because there are so many things that we really need to understand on what transpired. Absolutely.
Among the long list of questions is, of course, where the adults were at the time when something like this might have happened. I mean, you shouldn't be able to run as a 13 or 16-year-old into a river that might ultimately lead to your death.
Yes, indeed. I mean, we understand that there were facilitators that were there and a social worker, because this is a school for learners with special educational needs. And, educators were not there because, according to the camp, parents and educators are not supposed to be there. So those are the things that we really need to look at and check. If you said there was no activity that is related to water, but why do we have the camp closer to, an area where probably learners might be, tempted to go into the water, irrespective of the reasons.
Yeah.
Because that we said any water-related activity, there must be lifeguards on site. In the event of anything, that you have people that will go in there and rescue. There must be vests. Safety must be, beyond par. So those are the things that we are looking at. And it was an approved, excursion again. So we will then have to look at things that might have went wrong on this one.
Yeah. When you say it was a school for learners with special needs, are you able to tell us of the challenges that these learners faced? Were they physical challenges? Were they more mental?
Well, according to information at our disposal, it's more mental, not that much of physical, sure, because the skills school, as it were. So you need more supervision.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this, right?
That's why we are saying we need to check, thorough, and then we'll make an informed decision. If we feel that we need to bring an independent body to assist us, we will then have to do that. But that call must be made by the MEC.
The trip itself, or the drowning, took place yesterday, but I wonder if you have information around how long the trip itself was and whether or not it's still ongoing.
No, they were checked in on Friday, the 12th, and they were scheduled to leave yesterday. As it were, they were being debriefed as we were informed. So they were about to leave because it was in the afternoon. If you check, the news started, coming late in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So emergency services was called. They managed to retrieve the bodies, just after 3, around 4. And that's where we had to then interact with the parents. Some managed to come on scene, some couldn't, but the police had to go and make sure that they visit those families that could not be on the scene. Both children are from Tembisa.
Sure, yeah, really devastating what those parents might have to go through. We started our discussion and you mentioned that these activities are important for the developmental process of the pupils. And I think any parent watching would be keen for that, but would draw the line at the point where their child's life might be at risk. At the level of just the optics, Steve, there are very serious questions being asked by Gauteng parents about whether or not these excursions are worth it, given how many children we've lost maybe in just the last 5 years.
Now, remember, you can't take a blanket decision, because other parents might say, why you want to disadvantage us? Because there are those that would not have a problem, probably their children can swim. That's why in Gauteng we have introduced a multi-certification, where at grade R, grade 1, we teach, learners how to swim, and that program is unfolding. But yes, as a parent, you should be concerned, and we are with them. That's why after any investigation, we then have to implement the recommendations. Like, as it were, the previous incident, they're saying, make sure that where there's water-related incident or activity, there must be lifeguards, 24 hours there. There must be vests. You take all the safety measures. So remember, SGB plays a significant role in deciding whether they want to continue with this or not, because these are their children. They are responsible for governance. So as a department, it will be difficult without consulting our stakeholders, all of them, to say, do we do away with excursions, and what type of those that we do away with, so because some of them are curriculum-based, you need their leadership, their developmental, so you can't take a blanket decision, really.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You speak about investigations, and I think in the last incidents, we've seen a trend at the very least. At the heart of it, it's usually a level of neglect, adults who are not meant to be at a place where they should have been. And, usually by then, obviously, it's a bit too late for the grieving parents who have to now deal with the prospects of their children no longer being around. But Steve Mabona, thanks for speaking to us. We appreciate it. Hopefully, I don't see you under these circumstances again, but we'll hopefully have a catch-up once those investigations have been concluded. For now, Steve Mabona is the spokesperson of the Gauteng Education Department.